global crises.
Minutes before a vote that could have triggered an election. Things got so heated, the Prime Minister risked getting himself thrown out of the House.
Standing up to bullies requires us to call them out on their crap sometimes.
Justin Trudeau using unparliamentary language, responding to Conservative comments he said were homophobic heckles.
I will happily withdraw my comment if the member who suggested that I was sharing a bathtub with Tom Clark.
Conservatives say it was only a dig by their MP Garnet Janis at the cost of the tub in the new condo for Canada's Consul General in New York.
Let us presume the better natures of all members of Parliament.
Even after the Speaker regained control, there was no love lost between Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and Trudeau.
I will always stand up for Canada proudly.
Only he didn't stand up. He backed down. Yes. He's been backing down for 9 years.
All those in favour of the motion?
But the non-confidence vote triggered by the Conservatives failed. Thanks to the NDP and the Bloc Québécois. Now the Bloc is making clear what it wants in return for its support. The Bloc demanding 2 bills passed by October 29th to boost old age security pensions and protect Canada's supply management system for farmers.
What we are proposing is good for retired persons in Quebec, but also in Canada. It's good for milk and eggs and poultry product producer in Quebec, but also in Canada.
If not, the Bloc says it'll work with other parties to try to topple the Liberals.
I think every proposal that's made, is something that is considered. But I don't think it's helpful to issue ultimatums.
For now, the Liberals have successfully avoided an election, but a campaign must come sometime within the next year. And today's pointed and personal attacks in the House of Commons could be a preview of what it'll look like. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
All right, now let's bring in the host of Power and Politics, David Cochrane. David, that was quite the preview.
You know, Adrienne, I'm old enough to remember when the House of Commons voted unanimously that MPs would treat each other with greater respect and civility. And I'm old enough to remember that because that was Tuesday. And here we are on Wednesday, and all of this happened. And what you're seeing in question period and in Parliament is that it's becoming a more toxic and a less serious place. And this is going to increase the closer we get to an election. And what we've seen since Parliament returned this year is the Liberals have decided that they are going to take on Pierre Poilievre. He has been very pugilistic, very personal in his attacks on the Prime Minister and on the other leaders, calling Jagmeet Singh a liar and a fraud and a sellout since Parliament came back in September. So the Liberals have decided they want their leader to be unleashed. Now, charitably, you can look at this and say they're fighting fire with fire. Less charitably, you can look at what's happening in the House of Commons and say this is a race to the bottom. But this is what you see now. It's insults, it's allegations, and it's attacks. It's not debates on policy anymore, and that's what the election is almost certainly going to be.
David, briefly, what are you hearing about this new ultimatum from the Bloc?
So 2 demands. One should be easy for the Liberals to meet. A defense of supply management, taking that into trade negotiations, not a problem. If the Senate cooperates, they think they can meet that one. The tougher one is the old age security increase. That's the promise of 2 months of parliamentary peace in return for $3 billion a year and growing over time. That blows the Liberals' deficit targets and fiscal targets. They think they can work with it, but it's going to be tough to give the Bloc absolutely everything they want.
All right, David Cochrane in Ottawa.